Hello and welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene. I'm Mike Ziegenhorn, filling in tonight for Chris Lincoln, who for some reason lost his voice. So he called me out of the bullpen to come and host this week's show. We got a good show planned for you, and we're looking forward to some of the topics that we're going to discuss tonight. Some of the things we're going to be talking about: the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. Mike James, the president of the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, is here to talk about this year's class of inductees and the impact by Oklahoma athletes on the Olympic Games going back to Jim Thorpe. The U.S. Women's Amateur Golf Tournament is coming to town. It's coming to Tulsa, the 124th U.S. Women's Amateur, August 5th through 11th at Southern Hills Country Club, and the pro, Cary Cozby, will have a preview. It's almost August, so why not? We got to be talking football. Robert Allen from Oklahoma State, the longtime Cowboy insider, has a preview as the Cowboys open up fall camp. The Drillers have a big homestand. They're back at One Oak Field this week to wind up July and start August against the division-leading Springfield Cardinals, July 30th through August 4th. Fireworks are on Friday night, and on the second, and club's president, general manager Mike Malega, joins us to talk Driller baseball. Let's begin, though, with some of the Tulsa World hot topics. The Olympic headlines. Winding up the first full week of the 33rd Summer Games in Paris, Team USA is the leader as expected in the medal count. U.S. projected to win 112 medals overall and up to 39 gold. Our area college teams are well represented, with Arkansas having 20 athletes from 9 nations, with 20 of those from the Razorback Championship men's and women's track and field teams, with competition starting August 2nd. Arkansas has the most entrants among all NCAA college programs, and the SEC has all 16 member schools represented by 287 current and former student athletes. And Oklahoma State has 12 Olympians. Here's an interesting fact: there's been an OSU Cowboy in every Olympic Summer Games since 1924. OU has 6 Olympians competing in Paris this summer. NFL and college football camps open. The NFL's 32 teams are already in camp. August 1st in Canton, Ohio, Chicago Bears will take on the Houston Texans. Preseason games start the week of August 8th through 11th, and there'll be one of the final weekends that we will not have football coming up until sometime in February. FC Tulsa soccer update: they wrapped up a recent homestand July 26th, and they go on the road before their next home match is Friday, August 9th, hosting Orange County FC. And the Oklahoma City Thunder will have a game in Tulsa. They've announced their preseason schedule of 5 games. It includes an October 10th game right here in Tulsa at the BOK Center against an international team, the New Zealand Breakers. Coming up next, Mike James, the president of the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. We're going to take a deep dive with him about some of the athletes who will be honored this year and some of the past Olympians who are already in the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. Sports Scene continues right after this.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Winning action continues throughout the summer at Remington Park. Simulcast racing begins daily before noon from the top tracks across North America. Jackpot play is always available as the casino is always open. Mark your calendars now for the 2024 Thoroughbred season at Remington Park, starting August 16th and continuing through December 13th. Winning racing and casino play every day at Remington Park.
You've seen the billboards, you've heard the hype, and now it's time for the Wee Street Ice Center to open its doors and welcome you in. 140,000 square feet, 2 ice rinks, public skating, hockey, arcade, game simulators, and the largest sports bar and grill is sliding into Tulsa. It's the grand opening of the new Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale. Make your plans, get your skate on, or watch some sports today. The Wee Street Ice Center, now open and ready to serve you. Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene. I'm Mike Ziegenhorn from Cox Your View Sports. We're at the Wee Street Ice Center. What a beautiful facility. We're joined by Mike James, the president of the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. He's been actively involved in it for 25 years, the guy in charge for the last 7 years. It's great to have you with us tonight as we look forward to a big black tie event coming up on August the 5th.
Yeah, Mike, and thanks so much for having me. This is an incredible facility. You know, I lived in Tulsa from 1989 to 1998, and when I was here, this mall was pretty active. And coming up here and seeing this ice center, I mean, kudos to the Oilers. This is one of a kind. It's beautiful. But thanks for having me, truly.
Yeah, they've done a great job, and it's great to have a facility like this here in the city of Tulsa. Let's talk about the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. A lot of people may not have heard of it. It's based in Oklahoma City, so give it to us at a high level.
Yeah, and Mike, thanks for saying that. You know, I like to tell people it's the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, not the Oklahoma City Sports Hall of Fame. The Sports Hall of Fame was kind of a brainchild of a couple gentlemen, Mick Cornett, Lynn Draper, Ed Sawson, and a couple others. Back in 1986, I was not living in Oklahoma at the time. I had moved to Tulsa in 1989, but you know, it was right after the oil bust. They wanted to bring something very positive to Oklahoma, and they thought about all the number of athletes that Oklahoma's produced, from Jim Thorpe to Mickey Mantle to Johnny Bench, and the list is endless. And they created the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame and the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award. You know, back then there wasn't an award named after Jim Thorpe, and there wasn't an award that went specifically to a defensive back. And Jim Thorpe played so many positions on football teams that defensive back was one of them, so they created the Thorpe Award. And so those two married together created the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame and the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award.
Well, let's go ahead and get into the 2024 inductees this year. We're going to start off with one of the best quarterbacks in the history of OU football, Steve Davis.
You know, Steve Davis, it's unfortunate that two of our inductees this year will not be here to experience this. They're going to go in posthumously, and Steve Davis is one of those. You know, Steve Davis has a record of 32-1-1 as a starting quarterback, and when he came out of Sallisaw, Oklahoma to Norman, to OU, I want to say he was either the fifth or sixth quarterback on the depth chart. And he worked his way up and won 2 Orange Bowls, 2 national championships, and again, a record of 32-1-1 as a starter. That's not bad.
All right, let's move on. One of the females in it this year, Patty McGraw-Coatney out of Ponca City.
Yeah, Patty McGraw-Coatney out of Ponca City, an incredible golfer, won numerous amateur championships, golfed at Oklahoma State, but probably what a lot of people don't realize, Mike, is she started the golf program at University of Central Oklahoma, which back then was Central State. And so a lot of people don't realize that she started that program, and you know, if not for Patty McGraw-Coatney, would not be where it is today.
And of course, one of my favorite Cardinal players, Mike Matheny, also managed the team, and it's good to have him going.
Well, you know, what a lot of people don't realize about Mike, you know, Mike coached at Southeastern State for decades and is the all-time winningest coach at Southeastern, and has been and retired, but holds the record for being one of the all-time winningest coaches in Division II history.
And then you talked about deceased athletes that are being honored this year. The next one, Ryan Miner, sadly had cancer and succumbed to that in the last year.
Yeah, when we announced that Ryan was going to be inducted, I got in touch with his brother Damon, and Damon was at Ryan's house. So we had the opportunity to visit over the phone, and you know, Mike, we took a step that we've never done before, we never had to before, and we actually inducted Ryan months ago while he was at home in bed, battling this fight with cancer.
Yeah.
So we actually inducted him months ago. So he's a member of the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. We're going to make it official on August 5th, and Damon will be here on his behalf.
And of course, a great athlete he was, played baseball and basketball, got drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers. So
yeah, and the funny thing is, a lot of people may remember Ryan as being the guy to replace Cal Ripken. You know, Cal Ripken Jr. when he stopped the Lou Gehrig Ironman Street. That was Ryan Miner.
All right, and you're inducting Superman this year. I didn't know Marvel Comics were going to be a part of this, but it's Roy Williams, of course, part of that 2000 National Championship team.
Yeah, we figured we'd play on the Deadpool and all that stuff that's going on in the movies right now. But yeah, Roy's going in, incredible athlete. And you know, here's one thing I like about a number of Oklahoma athletes, Mike. Roy came from California, went to college at OU, made a name for himself, won a national championship, got drafted by the Cowboys first round, played in the NFL for a number of years, but came back to Oklahoma as he's an incredibly successful businessman in Oklahoma City. So he came back. These are his roots now. It's really nice.
And they call him Superman, and of course, Roy will be well known for that play in the OU Texas game in 2001.
Lehman showing blitz. There's the blitz. Touchdown, Lehman. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Williams got him on the blitz. Lehman on the pick. OU is going to win it again. Lehman bluffs. Williams gets the play. Sims backs up. Roy Williams just lays out right over the blocker. Remember the last time he was blocked? This time Lehman shows blitz and falls off for the freebie. What a play. What a play by Roy Williams.
What an effort by Williams. Duncan. The extra point. Take a look at number 38. Why he's the premier safety in the land. Over the top of the blitz protector. It flutters. And Lehman strolls in. OU rolling again. Do these guys ever lose a big game? Not today.
What a great player Roy Williams was, and definitely defined his career with that Superman move.
You know, he did, Mike, and he's, along with that, he's an incredible human being. So we're blessed to have him back in Oklahoma.
And we're talking Olympics also today, and it's fitting that you've got Shelby Wilson in there.
You know, here's the crazy thing. Shelby Wilson won a gold medal at the 1960 Olympics in Rome, but he also, on that same Olympic team, was his high school classmate from Ponca City, Doug Bluebaugh, who also won Olympic gold in those same Olympics. I believe the first time in Olympic history that two high school teammates won Olympic gold in the same sport in the same Olympics.
And we've talked a lot about individuals.
Yeah.
What about the teams of legend?
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks, Mike. In the Hall of Fame, we have 212 inductees. This class will bring us up to 212. But then we also have 3 teams of legend. You know, teams of legend, when you think about Oklahoma, for an example, remember the Titans, I'm sure.
Right.
Well, back in 1956, the Frederick Bombers were Oklahoma's first integrated football team, high school integrated football team. Their record, what they accomplished is second to none. So they were Oklahoma's Remember the Titans before Remember the Titans. The Presbyterian girls basketball team, and then in 1958, Coach Ted Owens, who's in our Hall of Fame as the famed basketball coach from the University of Kansas, went to Cameron University down in Lawton and started a baseball program out of nothing, and in their first year won the national championship.
A lot of great athletes and coaches in the state of Oklahoma, and amazing, the population as we have here compared to the rest of the country, a lot of great athletes.
You know, you're right, Mike, and if you think about it, Oklahoma is one of the youngest states and one of the smallest states. And in the mid-90s, when Lynn Draper, one of the founders of the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, was traveling the country getting ideas on how to build this museum out, he was an old journalist, so you'd appreciate that. Yeah. But he would take his legal pad and his pencil and make notes. The short of this, Lynn found out, now this is going back to the mid to late 90s, that there were more representatives from Oklahoma, so more sports figures from Oklahoma represented in other major halls of fame. So when you think about basketball, football, baseball, horse race, whatever it might be, there were more Oklahomans represented in other major halls of fame than any other state in the union. That's crazy.
That is crazy. course, if people are interested in going to the event, Monday night, tickets are still available.
Correct.
Chris is going to be there. Hopefully, he'll be in good enough shape to be there on that night.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Chris will be there. Again, it's August 5th at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. Starts at 7 o'clock. We'll end by 9, so it gives you plenty of time to get back to Tulsa or wherever you need to drive to. You can go on our website, OklahomaSportsHallOfFame.org, and tickets are available on the website. It's a black tie preferred. We will have over a dozen current members of the Hall of Fame there to usher in and welcome the new class of inductees along with the class of inductees there. So it's going to be a great night. Again, we'd love to have you come out, 7 o'clock, and all the information's available online on our website, Mike.
And you all always have a great turnout, don't you?
Yeah, we'll have between 500 and 600 people out there. It's a wonderful turnout. And again, we understand that people are driving from all over the state to attend this. And so we make sure and wrap up by 9 o'clock. This way people aren't getting home at a terrible hour. And it's a wonderful time of fellowship, great food, and an opportunity to hear stories that from Oklahoma legends that you probably wouldn't hear otherwise.
Well, stick around a few more minutes, can you?
I'd love to.
All right, we're going to talk about Olympians. It's Olympic time, Summer Olympics going on in Paris right now. We're going to talk about Olympians that are in the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame when Sports Scene continues.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
You've seen the billboards, you've heard the hype, and now it's time for the Wee Street Ice Center to open its doors and welcome you in. 140,000 square feet, 2 ice rinks, public skating, hockey, arcade, game simulators, and the largest sports bar and grill is sliding into Tulsa. It's the grand opening of the new Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale. Make your plans, get your skate on, or watch some sports today. The Wee Street Ice Center, now open and ready to serve you. Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to OklahomaSportsHallOfFame.org.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene. Mike Ziegenhorn filling in for Chris Lincoln tonight. Mike James from the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame with us as well. We've been talking about the inductees that are going into the class of 2024. Now it's time to focus on some of the Olympians from Oklahoma who are currently in the Hall of Fame. It's Olympic time. It's going on in Paris right now. The games started within the last few days. There's a lot of Olympians here in the state of Oklahoma that are in the Hall of Fame.
You're right, Mike, and perfect timing for this show, right? We have 26 Oklahomans or athletes with Oklahoma ties that have been inducted into the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, covering every sport. I mean, wrestling, gymnastics, basketball. I mean, it really covers a lot of sports. But again, 26 athletes with some incredible stories, and naturally dating all the way back from 1912 with Jim Thorpe in Stockholm at the Stockholm Olympics in 1912.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up. One of the original OGs, as we like to say, the OG guys that was in the Olympic, Jim Thorpe. What a great superior athlete he was.
Well, and you know, you think about back then, Mike, he won the decathlon and he won gold medals in the decathlon and the pentathlon in the 1912 Olympics. He traveled over there on a ship that took a number of days just to get there, and they outfitted this ship the best they could so these guys could practice. So when you think about they made every attempt to give those athletes in 1912 the best that they could to prepare for the Olympics. I always think about, what if they had what we had today? But Jim Thorpe made it happen. You know, Jim Thorpe set the standard, truly, back then in 1912 for overcoming odds. I mean, everybody talks about the stolen shoes, but for everything that he had to overcome, not just at the Olympics, but think about this. When Jim Thorpe won decathlon and pentathlon gold in 1912, he wasn't even an American citizen at that time.
Yeah, and today's athletes don't even want to stay in the Olympic Village. They want to go stay on a yacht somewhere or stay in a hotel, right?
Right. But
let's talk about some of the Oklahomans that are Olympians that are in the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. And Wayne Bachman, who wrestled and qualified for 3 Olympics. Jeff Bennett, a track and field athlete.
I got to tell you a story about Jeff Bennett. So Jeff Bennett lives in Edmond, Oklahoma, and he's retired, wanted something to do, and so he started driving Uber. And Jeff will be at the banquet August 5th. So if you want to meet a true Olympian, come to the banquet August 5th. But Jeff will be at the banquet. But Jeff told us he was driving Uber just for something to do. And I'm thinking, how many people get in his Uber car and have no idea they're riding with an Olympian?
Yeah.
So it's just a funny story.
That's pretty good. Stacey Dales, who played basketball at OU, from Canada, but she gets the honor to be an Oklahoma athlete that's an Olympian.
She's, her and Michelle Smith's another one. Stacey from basketball, Michelle Smith softball. Michelle Smith is her, matter of fact, if you follow college women's softball from, if you're an Oklahoma State fan or an OU fan, Michelle Smith's always doing the commentary with ESPN for softball. So she's still very engaged and comes by the Hall of Fame nearly every summer to say hello.
And you look at the list that we have on the screen, a lot of Oklahoma State athletes really stand out. Kenny Monday, a Kendall Cross, a Robin Ventura. It's just unbelievable the amount of athletes who've come through Stillwater.
Yeah, and to that point, a lot of wrestlers. But think about it. Kenny Monday, Tulsa. Kendall Cross, Mustang. Doug Blubaugh, Ponca City. Shelby Wilson, Enid. Or Ponca City, and Doug was Enid. But anyway, you're looking at these wrestlers. John Smith, probably the all-time greatest Olympic wrestler of all time. And, Del City, Midwest City, Del City kid back in the day. So if you look at OU, Oklahoma State, and if you look at the state of Oklahoma in general, Mike, over the years, we have provided our fair share of Olympic athletes and Olympic gold medalists and silver medalists to represent Oklahoma. We've done a good job. Oklahoma has.
And we can't forget about coaches, Henry Ibra,
gosh.
Myron Roderick, who also wrestled but was a coach at Oklahoma State as well. Those 2 super coaches.
Yeah, and it's amazing the impact that those guys have, because there are athletes today that certainly didn't play when Mr. Iba and Myron Roderick and these guys were around, but the level of respect that these gentlemen have carried throughout the decades is still there.
And then you talk about gymnasts, Shannon Miller from Edmond. You talk about Bart Connor, Nadia Comaneci, and what they bring to the table, and they're all still actively involved in the community.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize, Bart and Nadia, for an example, Mike, Bart and Nadia have a gymnastics event every summer in Oklahoma City, and literally, without exaggeration, thousands of young people from all over the United States come to this event, and they teach kids about nutrition, health and fitness, gymnastics naturally, but it's almost like a large gymnastic academy that's held at the convention center, and they've been doing this for decades. Plus they have a gymnastics academy in Norman, Oklahoma. So they still are giving back to the city and the state in a big way.
And one of the last athletes on here on the list, one of the first I ever saw play live basketball back in 1980, Wayman Tisdale, and what a great guy and what a great player.
Great guy, great player, and just a loss to the entire state of Oklahoma, and in my opinion, a loss to our country. Wayman Tisdale was a true gentleman, not taking anything away from anybody else. But if you knew Wayman, which you did,
yes,
just a true gentleman and an incredible basketball player. His family was kind enough to loan us his Olympic gear. So when you come down to the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, you can walk in and see Wayman's basketball warm-up from those Olympic Games. And along with that, we have Wayne Wells' gold medal when he won gold in the 1972 Munich Games. We have Michelle Smith's Olympic warm-up outfit that she wore, it was the ceremony, the opening ceremony's outfit. So if you come down to the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, you can learn quite a bit about the Olympians that the state of Oklahoma has has produced, and learn more about what they did, what they accomplished, and most of all, Mike, what they had to overcome to get there. Those stories alone are incredible.
All right, so let's talk more about the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. The Honors Committee meets each year. What are some of the criteria and things that they look at that you're looking forward to in 2025?
Well, and I'm glad you asked, because here's the criteria. Anyone can nominate someone as long as they can identify their tie to Oklahoma. So here.
So we can nominate Chris?
Chris is in. You're either from Oklahoma. Here, let me give you the example. You're either from Oklahoma and made a major contribution to sports. So, example, Mickey Mantle.
Right.
From Oklahoma, major contribution in New York. Or you're from somewhere else, but made a major contribution in sports in Oklahoma. For an example, Barry Sanders from Kansas won a Heisman Trophy at Oklahoma State. Thurman Thomas, same way. From another state,
Houston,
from Houston. So you're either from Oklahoma and made a major contribution, or you're from somewhere else but made a major contribution here. And so anyone can nominate anyone. Just email us a letter, get on our website, email us a letter on who you'd like to nominate. They're tied to Oklahoma along with their accomplishments, and they'll get put on the nominations list. Then we send a ballot out in November to over 250 people, current members of the Hall of Fame, sports writers, all over the state, and they vote on every single nominee that's on that list. And then our honors committee gets together, which Chris is a part of, and there's about 12 to 15 people on the honors committee, and they go through all those votes and create the next induction list. And we look at sport, we look at everything. And that's how the list is created. So it's a very unbiased way to get in the Hall of Fame, very unbiased.
We honor Chris because we know what he's done for sports here in the state of Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
So finally, we wrap things up real quick. Once again, if people want to go to the event on Monday night, it's not too late to get tickets.
No, not at all. And thank you again for bringing that up, Mike. Just go on our website, oklahomasportshalloffame.org. When you go on there, you'll see a link to be able to buy tickets online. And if for any reason you have any challenges with it, feel free to give us a call. Our number's on there. Again, my name's Mike James. There are only 3 of us there. Talk to any one of us, and we'd be happy to help. We'd love to see you come out on August 5th to help us induct the 6 new members of the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame.
Mike, we really appreciate your time and look forward to a good turnout on Monday night.
Great, thanks.
Sportscene is going to continue right after this. More big-time golf coming to Southern Hills in August. We'll have that next. Stay with us.
Tulsa Oilers hockey at the BOK Center. The ultimate experience of hockey and entertainment. Save big on season tickets today. Full season tickets starting as low as $17 per month for all 36 home games. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
One of the greatest treasures in golf is located right here in Tulsa, Southern Hills Country Club, hosting the U.S. Women's Amateur, August 5th through the 11th. That was the first ever professional tournament held in Tulsa at Southern Hills in 1946. Chris Lincoln had a chance to talk to Cary Cozby, the director of golf at Southern Hills, and here's what he said about the upcoming tournament.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we are full circle. The first national championship that we had, first USGA championship we had was the Women's U.S. Amateur in 1946. It's the legendary Babe Zaharias was the champion, and perfect timing as well because the Olympics are on, and she was also an Olympian. So excited to get the best amateur players in the world back to Tulsa.
And what a group of amateur players! In fact, they said they had more than 1,600, I believe, that were in qualifying, and we come down to how many numbers are going to be taking part in the event.
That's right. 1,600 young ladies or ladies tried to qualify, and there's going to be 156 that are going to get here. I think there was about 75 to I think it's 75, 77 exempt players who either won their state amateur that got them here, or members of the Curtis Cup are ranked in the top 50 in the WAGR rankings. So it's an elite field. It's going to be the best field of amateur players in the world.
August 5th through the 11th, Southern Hills Country Club. And I've heard that this is really a very fan-friendly type of tournament.
It's great. It's way different than, say, the 22 PGA that we had a couple of years ago. You're going to be able to get right up close, see some golf. The only rope and stake that's going to be around is going to be around the tees and the greens. So you're going to see the fans and gallery walking down the fairways with the players. If you happen to be watching the Golf Channel the last couple of weeks, the U.S. Girls Junior out in Los Angeles or the Southern California, and then last night the Boys Junior finished up. And if you watch that, you saw the crowd just walking down the fairway watching the players hit shots. So it's going to be, you can see a lot of golf up close and personal. It's gonna be a great event.
And I can't remember too many things at Southern Hills I've ever gotten for free, but the first 2 rounds are free, right?
Hey, what in this world is free? But there isn't any charge for tickets. Just gonna be able to come out and watch the golf. First 2 days are going to be stroke play on Monday and Tuesday. Practice rounds are a week from today. Actually, the final day of practice will be a week from today. Then the stroke play piece of it is Monday, Tuesday. They'll cut it to 64 Tuesday night. Hopefully, there's always a little bit of a playoff, it seems like, for those last couple of spots in match play. And then match play, the first round will be Wednesday, and then we'll finish up on Sunday with a 36-hole final. It's a lot of golf.
It's hard to imagine. It's been 78 years, though, since this club hosted that very first event of any national event, 1946, U.S. Women's Amateur. You talked about Babe Dixon Zaharias. She truly was probably the most famous woman athlete of her time.
No question about it. I mean, she did everything good. So Olympic gold medals and U.S. Women's Am champion. I mean, she was something special. We've got a really neat commemorative shadow box area in our history hall that showcases that. It's pretty impressive. I'm glad to have the first great name tied to the club with our golf championships was Babe Zaharias.
And you mentioned you have hosted several USAGA events. Just viewing some of those, just incredible. The 1958, 1977 U.S. Opens. We've had U.S. Amateur twice, most recently in 2009, U.S. Junior Amateur, Senior Amateur, and U.S. Women's Mid-Amateur, and more events coming, I'm sure, to Southern Hills.
Yeah, no, actually 3 U.S. Opens, 2001, the famous one with Retief Goosen. So 3 U.S. Opens and now two women's AMs, 2 men's AMs, like you said, a junior, senior, and a ladies mid-am. Actually, that was the inaugural ladies mid-am that was here. So helped kind of kickstart that championship. But yeah, that's championship golf is part of the club's DNA, and it has been since 1946. And we're excited to get the world's best here again.
And of course, Southern Hills has hosted more PGA championships than any other course. You'll be awful proud of that.
No, that's correct. First club to host 5 PGA championships, and one of the few clubs that really can go take care of both the USGA as well as the PGA, or work with both the organizations, the 2 prominent ones in the game, and be able to host both. So it's a nice nod to our membership and leaders at the club to be able to do both.
And beginning with this U.S. Women's Amateur coming up next week at Southern Hills, you got a bunch of events. April 2025, the Big 12 Men's Golf Championship. July 26th, the Trans-Miss Men's Championship.
That's correct. Yeah, no, we obviously these are less disruptive events, and the Women's Am is certainly not a disruptive. Our last day for golf at the club is going to be today. we restricted the carts this past week just to kind of get the golf course to get a little shine to it. But the Transmiss and the Big 12 just are kind of normal events, not normal, but definitely less disruptive to our membership. And then you ramp up all the way to the 22 PGA. There's a lot of build out for a major championship versus an amateur championship. So really, all we're doing is grooming and growing the grass, and golf course is in really, really good condition, as you would expect. So Brian Evans and his team have just killed it.
I'm going to say, is there much of a change in the course, the distance, or any kind of configuration with the U.S. Women's Amateur?
So these ladies hit it really straight. They're going to play from about 64 to 6,500 yards. So I would say that, that's pretty long, but the grass, they asked for the rough to be a little higher because these ladies are so accurate off the tee. They do want a penalty off the tee. So our members have paid the price the last 30 days, and we've kind of raised the blades on the mowers a little bit. So I don't think the greens are going to be terribly fast. We've actually slowed the greens down a little bit just from the normal pace that our membership enjoys on a daily basis. But I think as the week goes on, they'll kind of pick it back up. It's 156 players. Getting through stroke play on a venue like this is tough to do. So I think as match play begins, you'll start seeing the greens speed up a touch and firm up a touch, and we'll see what they do with the rough. We're gonna be watching closely next Saturday and Sunday during the practice rounds to see how the balls are being played out of the rough, because it's pretty deep right now, and it's healthy, and the ball's just sinking right to the bottom. So it's not much fun out there. You need to hit the ball in the fairway.
Well, of course, an event like this requires a lot of volunteers, a lot of organization, committee there, and I guess I'm sure Kathy Buckley's done a great job for you.
Well, Kathy is a special lady, great friend, and she's been involved with, I think, at least back to 94 PGA. She's been involved with every major championship we've had here, and as you know, it does take a lot of, anything this size takes a lot of planning and meetings and organization, and Kathy and Carol Cable and Leanne Four and Nick Sidorkis from the club standpoint, he stayed on to kind of get the club through after he retired through this championship, and it's a lot of meetings, but we want to make sure everything's buttoned up, and when everybody arrives this coming week, it's a first class event, not just for Southern Hills and the ladies that are playing, but for the city of Tulsa.
And finally, can you give us those details again? And again, I have to stress, you can go free to Southern Hills Country.
That's right. That's right. So next Monday, or a week from tomorrow, pardon me, August 5th is the first round of stroke play. So there'll be 36 holes of stroke play on Monday and Tuesday. And then beginning on Wednesday, it's one-on-one. So it's match play. There'll be 64. So 32 matches. We'll cut those after Wednesday's play. We'll be down to 32. And then on Sunday is the 36-hole final. So there's matches Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Those are, of course, admission charge. What's the admission, and how do you get tickets?
No tickets, man. Just
whole tournament.
Yeah, the whole tournament. Yeah, so it's the whole tournament's free.
Oh, God bless.
Yeah, can you believe it?
I know. Out of Southern Hills, the USGA. Well, and I have to point out, Cary, by the way, is actually in his office. Golf pros don't have an office, right, Cary?
No, I have about a 360-acre office, but I had to come sit in my car to call you, so I don't disrupt the entire staff that I work with.
Well, thanks for joining us, and we all look forward to the, again, historic U.S. Women's Amateur coming to Southern Hills, and it's free.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's always good to see you, Chris. Good talking to you.
Many thanks to Cary Cozby out at Southern Hills. That event coming up next week. Coming up for us next, Robert Allen going to talk some Oklahoma State football right here as Sports Scene continues.
It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
The Remington Park Casino is always open for jackpot gaming. The winning action never ends. Enjoy great food and drinks in the Bricktown Brewery, open daily at 11 a.m. Simulcast racing is offered every day, featuring North America's best tracks. Visit the Club Remington desk for player card membership and begin earning points and rewards. The jackpots are always flowing. The next one could be yours at Remington Park.
Tulsa Oilers hockey at the BOK Center. The ultimate experience of hockey and entertainment. Save big on season tickets today. Full season tickets starting as low as $17 per month for all 36 home games. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
I'm Cox Sports' Mike Ziegenhorn filling in for Chris Lincoln this week on Sportscene. It's August. That means football practice is ready to start. Let's talk some Oklahoma State Cowboy football with Robert Allen, who's been the sideline reporter for 20 years for the Pokes. He was recently at the Big 12 Media Days in Las Vegas, and he told Chris Lincoln it was really hot.
120 degrees. Chris, I've never felt 120 degrees. And you know, the popular saying is it's a dry heat.
Yeah.
It may be a dry heat, but it's damn hot.
He talked about it. One of the guys left ahead of you, and what happened? He
was walking outside Allegiant Stadium, which is where they held the Big 12 Media Days. And, they had metal railings for the stairs outside. And sometimes I'll grab those just by habit, but he was in front of me. I was in the center, so I wasn't going to grab it. And when he grabbed it, I heard him scream. They literally had to take him back inside because he lost skin on the railing. It was so hot. Pretty bad out there. It's crazy.
Wow. Well, let's go inside Allegiant Stadium there and talk about the Big 12 football and media days. It's an all-new Big 12, 16 teams, and when the preseason poll was out, the Cowboys were third, as they have been the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement for Utah, and I spent time with Cam Rising, their quarterback. I don't know if you know Yogi Roth. Yogi's moving over to the Big Ten Network. He's a Pac-10 guy that I befriended, and so he introduced me to Cam Rising, and we sat there and talked, not on camera, not on microphone, just I got a really good feel for the Utah quarterback, and he's impressive. And then you've got a great situation there, and the Cowboys and Utah will play on the 21st of September in Stillwater. I think that's going to be one of the great games in Boone Pickens Stadium history, because you've got Kyle Whittingham, who coaches his Utah team very similar to the way Mike Gundy does. Discipline, toughness, physicality. I think we're going to see a great football game, and I think Utah is a worthy team. If people want to vote them first, and they did, I don't have an argument with it. I think Utah is one of the best teams in this league.
Well, the preseason poll had Utah getting 20 first-place votes, then followed by Kansas State, and then Oklahoma State. Let's take a look at the poll and get your thoughts. You run down Kansas State seems to always be there now.
Yeah, and I like Kansas State, and Oklahoma State has to, their first three conference games are Utah at home, Kansas State in Manhattan, and then they come back and get a West Virginia team that I think is a legitimate sleeper in the Big 12. They get them third in Boone Pickens Stadium. So those first three games in conference will go a long way toward dictating where the Cowboys will be at the end of the year. But I like Kansas State, but I don't think they're as good as either Utah or Oklahoma State, and we'll get a chance to see whether that's true or not. I think the biggest thing there, Chris, is Avery Johnson's a tremendous playmaker for them at quarterback. But looking at him at Big 12 Media Days, he's skinny, and he's a running quarterback. I like skinny running quarterbacks. A lot of times in this league, they don't last very long. So K-State better get some bulk on that young man, or they better curtail his running a little bit, because he's going to get his block knocked off.
Take a look at the preseason football teams announced here. Cowboys were all over the place on offense and defense.
Yeah, Ollie Gordon's going to get a lot of, he's going to get a lot of play because of what happened last season. What happened this summer, I think, actually will somewhat. It's not a good thing. Don't misquote me.
Sure.
It is a bad thing. And Ollie, one of the things, I don't know that many people know what Mike Gundy's doing for punishment. One of the things is, I'm not going to tell you how many. He's got a lot of hours he's spending with speakers from Mothers Against Drunk Drivers that have had family victims as a result of DUIs. And I think Ollie is a conscientious kid. I think he made a mistake. I'm not going to get into the quotes Mike Gundy had at Big 12 Media Days, but I will raise my hand. Have I ever got behind the wheel where I think I may not have been totally legal? I'm going to say I have, but I've also learned lessons, and I don't do it anymore. So, but I think Ollie will reset, Chris. I think this is going to take him back to ground zero, no pun intended with his jersey number. And he's going to come out feeling he's got to prove himself all over again because of the mistake he made this summer. So that's where I'm talking. It may play in Oklahoma State's favor a little bit. The other guys, Brennan Presley is a legit guy. Everybody in Tulsa knows about him from Bixby. Guy, what a great kid, and what a great player in this program. Then over on the defensive side, when you start talking about the Colin Olivers, the Nick Martin, I truly think Nick Martin is one of the best linebackers I've ever seen play at Oklahoma State. And I may only get to see him play one more year, but Nick is truly a talent. So, yeah, Oklahoma State's got a couple of guys on the offensive line. Joe Mahalski, I've talked to a lot of NFL scouts. They believe that the Cowboys center will hear his name in the draft next year, and that's a big deal for a center to get drafted in the NFL. Those guys tend to last a long time, and Joe Mahalski's really made himself into a good football player.
And, of course, we have to mention it, Mike Gundy. It's an anniversary year for him. What a run. 20 years, the head football coach at his alma mater.
Yeah, and I was talking to him the other day because we've kind of got a deal. I predated him on the sidelines when he was the OC for Les Miles by about 5 years. But I've been the sideline guy with him every step of the way. And I've told him, I said, hey, I'll go as long as you go. Well, he's talking about 10 more years.
Oh, my God.
I didn't anticipate that, but neither did my wife. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. And like I mentioned, we're going to have a fun game on September 21st when two guys, and they're separated, Chris, Kyle Whittingham and Mike Gundy, by 3 games in their win-loss record.
Wow.
Mike has won 3 more games than Whittingham has. Those are 2 of the best coaches in the country, and they're in the Big 12 Conference, so that's going to be fun.
Give me a great atmosphere at Boone Pickens Stadium. Once again, Oklahoma State season tickets sold out.
Yeah, season tickets sold out. It's I looked this morning to see where the individual tickets are. The game that I believe has the most tickets left is West Virginia, and the number is 800. So every other game besides Arkansas, which is already sold out, everything is 800 or less to becoming a sellout.
Well, we appreciate Robert's time in Vegas and the heat. We'll have more from him next week. And coming up next, Drillers Baseball with the president and general manager, Mike Malega.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Tulsa Oilers hockey at the BOK Center, the ultimate experience of hockey and entertainment. Save big on season tickets today. Full season tickets starting as low as $17 per month for all 36 home games. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Welcome back on Sportscene at the Wee Street Ice Center here at 41st and Yale in Tulsa. Mike Ziegenhorn filling in for Chris Lincoln. Mike Malega joining us, the president and general manager of the Tulsa Drillers. And time flies by fast. You came here in 1994 with the Drillers. I mean, you've been here 30 plus years.
It's crazy. It really is. It's crazy. I thought I'd be here for a year or two, and 30 years later, we're still here. I got a couple of Okies that that were born and raised here, and now they're off to college, and I'm still loving doing what I do every day, working for the Drillers and taking care of that beautiful jewel we have downtown One Oak Field.
I got you beat by about 14 years. I came here in 1980, have covered Drillers baseball ever since. Covered them when I was in college at the University of Tulsa, but it's always great to see what the Drillers have done over the years and what they're doing again this year. They got a big series now going on with Springfield.
Yeah, we come home and we got Springfield going on. Springfield Cardinals. This is still Cardinals country, so lots of fans out there. It's our last time playing St. Louis or Springfield this year, so chance to see those baby birds, before they make it to St. Louis. So that's always fun. And they're the number one team in the division. They won the first half. They're in first place in the second half, but we're sitting in second place, which puts us in the playoff position. So it's a big series. We'd love to take 4 out of 6 against those guys.
Yeah, and important, if you finish second, if Springfield finishes first, second half, you're in the playoffs.
Exactly. So the second place team in the second half, if the same team wins both halves, is the playoff opponent for the first round of the playoffs. So if we can hold on to second place behind Springfield or overtake them, then we will find ourselves playing some postseason baseball in September.
Let's talk about some of the promotions you got coming up in the next homestand.
Sure. So this week, big week, as usual, Tuesday through Sunday, 6-gamer. We come back tomorrow or Tuesday with a $2 Tuesday, but this weekend is Noodlers weekend. Thursday and Friday night is fun. It's kind of this alternate identity that we started playing up here about 3 or 4 years ago, and we've had a ton of fun with it. So we're going to have a big live noodling tank and noodling exhibition. Some fans will have a chance to get into the tank. Thursday night, we're giving away these really cool Noodlers can sling backpack kind of coolers. These are cool for the golf course or running out to the park or whatever you're doing. You can put about 6-pack in these things. Drillers are going to be wearing these amazing uniforms this Thursday and Friday night. And Friday night we'll come back with fireworks. And the first 500 folks are going to get a Tess Monty bobblehead doll from Channel 6. Tess is like the resident noodler, celebrity noodler in town. So we love partnering with her, and she's going to be out the ball game, throwing the first pitch. And we'll have fireworks on Friday night. And then we'll be back with some more fireworks on Saturday. And, it's Mascot Mania Saturday. We'll have about 20 mascots in town, including the Miami Heat, Oklahoma City Thunder, Dallas Stars mascots, and a bunch of local mascots be out celebrating with Hornsby. And it's back to school night. Backpacks for the first 1,000 kids.
Did you think the noodling deal would take off when the first year you guys did that?
We were hopeful. Obviously, in minor league baseball, it's about fun. It's about lighthearted. And that is so quintessentially Oklahoma that we had to do it. And the great bold colors, the fans really took off on it, and it made a huge impact on us. Merchandise sales, we're selling tons of T-shirts, tons of hats. The players are going to be wearing these things on the field on Thursday and Friday night. It's always fun to see.
Well, and this last week of July, always a big time. A lot of movement in Major League Baseball. Yeah. The Dodgers had some movement with a trade between the Cardinals and White Sox.
They did. And, we're always on edge. How many players are going to leave the Drillers? We had a couple of years ago, they traded for Manny Machado, and we lost 6 players off our roster, over 25% of our roster. But so far in that deal, we didn't lose any current players, so the roster's intact as we make this push for the playoffs. But we'll see. They may make another move.
The Dodgers, obviously one of the top teams in Major League Baseball, have been for several years, leading the division out of the All-Star break as we hit the dog days of August. What do you think their chances are to go ahead and win the West?
I think their chances are huge. Honestly, they've probably underperformed, Mike. They have gone on some stretches where they haven't hit the ball real well. So they make this move with St. Louis. They bring in Tommy Edman. I think they wanted a little bit more depth. Tommy can play everywhere. As Cardinals fans know, he's an outfielder, but he can play all over the infield too. Dodgers love that type of skill set. He can run, he can create some energy, some activity on the base paths. So I think they like bringing him in, but they just got to get healthy. I mean, honestly, the biggest trade deadline move that they can make is activating a few studs off of the IL and getting them back into Dodgers blue.
So if people come out to Driller Stadium, are there any current players playing for the team that maybe will get called up either in August or right around September?
For sure. There's already one up in the big leagues, former OSU pitcher Justin Robleski, who was our opening day starter this year. He's already up in the big leagues. He's made 3 starts for the Dodgers, and it showed very, very well. So we're really proud of him. Hopefully he continues and holds on to that spot for as long as possible. But then on our team currently, we got the #1 prospect in the Dodgers organization. His name is Dalton Rushing. He's a catcher, outstanding. Had no problem making the leap from high A to double A, which is the biggest leap in professional baseball. So he's one to watch. He's a catcher. I hope he survives the trade deadline and he's with us till the end of the year. And then also our second baseman is a kid named Kyle Freeland, who's just outstanding. I mean, Alex Freeland, outstanding player. He's just moved up to the #3 prospect in the Dodgers organization right now too. So those are 2 to watch.
And you guys have great ticket prices. You always got good deals going on. Give us some highlights and maybe some ticket promotions coming up.
Absolutely. Every Tuesday is a $2 Tuesday, $2 tickets, $2 Driller Dogs, so you can't beat that. And then we're going to come back every Sunday is a family day, and we're going to have kids eat free on Sundays. Usually there's free opportunities to do a kids clinic or something like that on the field. And then, of course, we're just going to load it up with promotions Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and give you a ton of value.
Always fireworks on the weekend,
Always
right?
fireworks, yep, absolutely.
Mike Malega, appreciate your time.
Great seeing you, Mike.
President and General Manager of the Tulsa Drillers. Get out and watch some baseball at Driller Stadium. We're going to wrap things up on Sportscene. Stick around right here.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Winning action continues throughout the summer at Remington Park. Simulcast racing begins daily before noon from the top tracks across North America. Jackpot play is always available as the casino is always open. Mark your calendars now for the 2024 Thoroughbred season at Remington Park, starting August 16th and continuing through December 13th. Winning racing and casino play every day at Remington Park.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
Well, thanks for joining us on Sportscene this week. Chris Lincoln says he will be back next week. And one of his guests is going to be the new athletic director at the University of Tulsa, Justin Moore. We'll also get a recap of TU's session at the American Athletic Conference Media Days with Tulsa World Sports columnist Bill Hastings. And Dale Day has our first Remington Park report on the Oklahoma City Tracks Thoroughbred season that begins on August 16th. And until then, we'll always remind you, be a good sport.